Okay, Gen Chem 2, we left off with a little bit of a cliffhanger, didn't we? We left off with our zero order, and I'm trying to move my screen here. We left off with our zero order plot, and we looked at our R squared value, which told us that this was linear. And because we didn't manipulate our data, literally our concentration was left as A. It wasn't the natural log and it wasn't the inverse. This is telling us that this is zero order. And then from our line equation, we read that K. Okay, I love it. All right, so right away we got to our order and we got to our rate constant. And then our question was, what's the concentration at 17 seconds? So we use that zero order to tell us which equation to use. So for our zero order, we had this equation. All right, and then we just plug in chug. So what are we plugging into here? Well, we want to solve for this at 17 seconds. Our K is coming from our plot. That's our 100. We want to solve for 17 seconds. Oh, sorry, a little tick in my throat there. And our initial, we can read from our data. So if we look up at our data table, we are reading 1 molar. That's our initial. And you notice 17 seconds is not on here. We have to solve for that. Okay, so when we get our linear plot and we solve for our 17 seconds, let's plug our numbers in. So we want to solve for this one. There's our 100 for our K. Here's our 17. And then here's our 1 molar. I love it. So if you plug this in on your calculator, holy cow, what are we getting? Concentration of A, 1700 plus 1, essentially. Awesome. So are we done? I love it. And what would our units be? What were our units? They were molarity over time. Okay. Are we done here though? No. Here's our cliffhanger from the last video. We, in this class, for the rest of the semester, will stop and look at our answer and see if it makes sense. How do we check and see if this makes sense? We're going to do the exact same thing in our equilibrium and unit 3. Does this make sense? Well, you have a data table. So does it fit? I mean, you have 10 seconds and 20 seconds. You're looking for something in between there. So does 1699 molarity actually fit into your data set? Not even close. You are so far off, it's ridiculous. So we will always stop and do this at the end because that's going to signal to us, we have a small mistake somewhere. So what happened? Now, the one thing with Excel that you have to be careful of, when you put in your data on Excel, you have to check your axis. So we want to make sure when we're plotting that we have concentration versus time. So let's double check that on our data plot. Oh, okay. Look at your data. Hang on a second. Over here, we ended up with time, and over here, we ended up with concentration. It's the one downfall with Excel. It kind of chooses for you. So how do you fix that? What I do is a new data set, and I will copy this column and move it over here. So what Excel does is it reads its relation, so you may have to have time and then concentration. You're just going to have to always double check your axis since that scatter plot chooses for you. So then highlight those two data columns and try it again. So what happens when we get this reverse then? Let's take a look at that Excel plot. Now we're talking turkey. We've got our concentration here, our time here, and then look what changed. Our line equation changed. It's still linear, but now we have a different value for K. Oh, that is just a little fluffy there. Now we have a new value for K, and let's see if that works a little bit better in our equation. So I'm going to rewrite the equation. Let's try this again. All right, let's plug in some numbers then. We're going to solve for this one. Let's use that new K, 17 seconds, and our concentration was that 1 molar. Okay, so now when you plug that in to your calculator, this is what you're going to get. Okay, I love it. Now this is going to fit. And let's go ahead and we can add units over this and this so we can cancel. Okay, so let's go ahead and check this. Does that fit your data set? Let's go back up to our data table. And now we are in business because since 17 is in between this 10 and 20, 8.83 is in between those two. That makes sense. So this deserves a sparkle pen. Now we're done with zero order. I love it. So let's turn right around. We'll do another video and we're going to do the same.